Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. A big cool down is on the way for the northern United States for later this week. That will bring a severe weather threat with the passage of the cold front across the United States, and we're also monitoring the tropics. We'll keep watching the tropics, but there's nothing to panic about at this current time. If you guys haven't seen my winter forecast, speaking of a big cool down, if you want to know your weather forecast for this upcoming winter, be sure to hit the description down below the video and you can find the link to my winter weather forecast down there as well. And looking here at the storylines, again, we are looking at a cool down, severe weather, and also monitoring the tropics in today's video. So looking here first at the cool down, you can see that we are seeing the cold front moving across the Ohio Valley down into the deep south today. Behind that, we're seeing high pressure working in that drier, more stable air across portions of the Midwest down into the Central Plains today. And then as we go into your Thursday, this cold front is going to continue to march its way off to the east, bringing some showers and thunderstorms right along and ahead of the passage of the front there from the mid-Atlantic down through the southeast into the Gulf Coast on Thursday. And then as we go into Friday, you notice the cold front doesn't move too much. It's going to actually slow down, and that means that we're going to start to see more heat building here into the southern plains as we go into that Friday time frame. So looking at the high temperatures expected this afternoon, yes, very nice, comfortable cool down here for the upper Midwest and the Ohio Valley. With the passage of that front, temperatures are held down into the 60s and 70s all across portions of the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, down into Iowa and parts of northern Illinois. Whereas the cold front is still progressing eastward, it's going to be hot over here toward the eastern seaboard. Temperatures well into the 90s to the triple digits here, and across Texas down into the southern plains where the cold front doesn't ever make it. That's where temperatures are going to be back into the 90s and 100s today. That continues on Thursday. The cold front continues to progress further off to the east. As it slows down, it's not going to really move further to the south, so we're still going to be seeing those real warm, hot temperatures across the southern plains. A little bit of some return flow as well back into Nebraska, so we may be warming up a handful of degrees there and even into South Dakota on Thursday. That continues as we go into Friday. Yeah, we're closing in on 110 there into portions of northwest Texas near the Wichita Falls region, 106 in Dallas, 107 in Abilene, and 102 in Houston. So it's going to be hot down there, but our northern tier is going to be much cooler. A nice big cool down for you, and that continues into Friday. With the passage of the front, we are keeping an eye on the severe weather chances. It's not a severe weather outbreak or anything like that, but we do have the dark green and yellow shaded colors. The dark green is a level 1 out of 5. That's a marginal risk. And in the yellow, that's a level 2 out of 5. That is a slight risk of severe weather here, and that extends from the Great Lakes down through the lower Ohio and Tennessee River Valley and then back across North Texas here as we go through today. And just looking at the areas that somewhat higher chance of severe weather, it's just a level 2 out of 5, but this is a 15% chance of severe weather from the Memphis region down here towards Jackson, Mississippi, or just north of there, and then back toward Little Rock or Shreveport. We'll be keeping an eye on that for this afternoon and evening. And looking here at the precipitation trends, this afternoon, a couple supercell thunderstorms may fire up here from Middle Tennessee, back into Southwest Tennessee, Northern Mississippi, into South Central Arkansas here. We are watching the threat of some isolated large hail to quarter size and some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. As we go into this evening, we're going to start to see more thunderstorms percolate here across the Dixie Alley into the lower Mississippi Valley region, again from portions of Alabama back through northern Mississippi into southeastern Arkansas. These will be most concerned for damaging winds and large hail. So those 60, 65-mile-per-hour wind gusts and some quarter-size hail here as well. Can't rule out an isolated tornado, but the tornado threat overwhelmingly is low for today. And then as the sun sets, as we get deeper in through the evening into the overnight hours, so does the coverage of storms. They start to collapse as we go into early Thursday morning. Then as we go into Thursday, we have a couple areas we're keeping an eye on for a marginal risk. One of those areas up here into South Dakota into Nebraska, then from eastern Oklahoma into southwestern portions of Arkansas into Louisiana, far east Texas, and then on up here into portions of the mid-Atlantic and interior New England on Thursday, and basically the same thing as we go into Friday as well. Then as we go into this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, remember that cold front does slow down as it reaches the eastern seaboard, so this is going to gather up some moisture, and we're going to start to see lift with this cold front. That's what cold fronts do. It lifts up some of that moisture into the atmosphere, and it wrings it out like a sponge with some rainfall. And we'll see that Saturday into Sunday across portions of the mid-Atlantic and especially into the northeast. And you can see on Saturday, does look like quite a bit of rain here from the mid-Atlantic down into the portions here of the Delmarva, getting up through New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, western Massachusetts, through much of Maine on Saturday. But it looks like the highest coverage and intensity of rainfall will be on Sunday here, with some steady light to moderate rainfall with some pockets of heavier rain at times as well, where you see these yellow shaded colors into eastern Pennsylvania, portions of New York State, and various areas there. On Sunday, we'll be watching out for some heavier rainfall rates across the Northeast. It will add up over time. Your total rainfall accumulation now through Monday morning here, you could be seeing 1 to 3 inches worth of rain across portions of northern Virginia, eastern West Virginia, near the panhandle there, West Virginia, getting through especially eastern and central Pennsylvania, New York State, heading up into Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, and into portions of Quebec as we go through that Monday morning time frame. Now we turn to the tropical weather update here. No hype forecast, I promise you that. We do have some activity to talk about. Tropical Storm Lee has formed here. And again, we want to stress this is a tropical storm across the North Atlantic. It is not a hurricane at this time. It is actually maximum sustained winds at 70 miles per hour. So it's approaching hurricane strength, but it is still officially a tropical storm moving west-northwest at 14 miles per hour. Now, the National Hurricane Center thinks this will become a Category 1 either later this afternoon or this evening and maintain at least Category 1 or 2 strength through the end of the week before turning to at least a Category 3 hurricane sometime in the morning there on Friday and maintaining major hurricane status through at least that Monday time frame. Now, looking at the sea surface temperatures, this plays a big, vital role with how strong these systems can get here along with the wind shear. So looking at sea surface temperatures, this is in degrees Celsius, but if you convert it over, very warm nonetheless across much of the main development region, much of the western Atlantic here, and the Caribbean. So this system has a lot of fuel to work with as it presses to the west-northwest. Now, looking at the intensity guidance here, don't take this verbatim, but this does look to get into a lot of the models showing Category 3, possibly Category 4 strength, even a couple up there toward Category 5. Officially, I am not willing to go to Category 5 strength with this system. It has a long way to go, even to become here, even a Category 2 hurricane, nonetheless a Category 5. So right now, we're going to keep an eye on this as it moves to the west. Let's kind of track this here. On Thursday, this is a 994 millibar low to the east of the Lesser Antilles. By the weekend, it's starting to rapidly intensify, but notice it's to the north and east of Puerto Rico. It's to the east there of the Dominican Republic and away from any source of land. It's still over the open water, very warm water here, so it will strengthen down to a 939 millibar low, a major hurricane, at least a Category 3 on Saturday, then continuing to strengthen down to a 921 millibar low or thereabout by Monday early next week. And again, notice this is north of Puerto Rico. It is north and east of the Dominican Republic, not affecting any land directly. However, I would not be surprised if there was some stronger waves and also some rip current risk for some of the greater Antilles Islands and possibly the eastern Bahamas as it approaches early next week. This is the ensemble tracks. Again, the black line here is the most likely scenario where the system, the low pressure track, will take. You do notice that some models take this further west, some models take this further north. We just don't know exactly where the track of this system will be, and that will be very key to who sees impacts, if anybody sees any impacts from the system. So this is very uncertain right now, the track of the system. All we can say right now is that a major hurricane is likely, at least a Category 3, and that it looks to stay to the north of the greater and the Lesser Antilles as of right now. If you want new updates on the weather forecast, forecast for your area, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below as I cover North America, including southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics as we just showed on this video. Also, make sure to press the like button, the thumbs up button down below the video to get this vital weather information out to as many people as possible. If you want additional weather forecast updates, follow me on Twitter or X at hweather420. That is in the description down below the video, as well as my winter forecast. Make sure to go watch that as well. Otherwise, thank you so much for all the support, all the generosity here, for watching my video and sticking with me through the entirety of the video. I appreciate that, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their week out there.